But here's the catch: even in the music world, you could spend a couple $100 on a kit that comes with an electric guitar and a really basic amp, and it's playable enough to where you can figure out whether you like the hobby or not. You know, once you figure it out, you can spend more money. You still don't have to spend a lot of money to have a really good time. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Square Table Union. Just give you a little bit of background on what's going on with this channel, or what I'm trying to do. I have other hobbies, like I play guitar, I'm in a band, and we play music, and that's one thing that you could do on YouTube, but that has sort of like a structure to it. And then I also have another YouTube channel in which I build and repair guitars, and that has a pretty strong structure to it too. And I've just recently got into miniature wargaming. That's just something I just wanted to have something fun to do with my kid. And just from somebody older, I'm in my mid-40s, I just wanted to share my experience of what it's like to kind of get into the hobby. So here I am, an older person. I've always enjoyed building World War II models and car models and painting and stuff. I've always been an artistic person, so I figure the miniature war game models and that kind of hobby, that kind of speaks to me and everything. So when I started looking into it, of course, you get on the internet, and the most popular and the biggest thing that pops up is Warhammer 40K. I am, as far as in between fantasy and sci-fi, I kind of lean on the sci-fi side of the genres. I like them both, but I'm more of a sci-fi kind of guy. So of course, Warhammer 40K spoke out to me pretty good. I love the concept of the armies and the way they're built, and I love the concept of actually building miniatures and having to paint them, and then building terrains and moving around on a map, and the sort of the D&D thing with the dice. I'm a big fan of I'm kind of a big fan of the lore. I'm not into all the lore, but specifically I like the Grey Knights. I think that's a pretty cool army in the lore, and that was the path that I was going to go down. When I first started to get into this, I bought the 9th edition recruitment box. I found it pretty cheap off of Amazon. I was like, oh, this seems like a good start. It's got basically 2 small armies that you can get with. You get the typical, the standard, the blue Space Marines, and you can get the Necrons, and both of them look cool to me, so I went for that. The nice thing about the recruitment box, it comes with a book that has basically a little bit about the lore. It's got a little bit of everything. It talks about the hobby and the models itself, a little bit about the lore. It's got a little brief section of your next step as far as buying more models, and of course it has these cool missions in it that kind of teach you how to play the game at steps. One mission is basically movement, and then the next mission is you start the battle with the Necrons and everything, which I thought that was pretty cool and very smart. And also you can get on YouTube, and there was plenty of people out there using that recruitment box and going through those missions, which I thought was really cool. You can just follow along with them to make sure you're doing everything correctly. So there I started down the path. My oldest son is 9, and he started messing with the recruitment box with me, and I get online and I download the Warhammer app, or whatever it's called right now, and we started looking at different armies for both of us to maybe get into. And of course, he's a huge dinosaur nut, so immediately the Tyranids just, he was interested into them. So I was like, sure, we'll get into the Tyranids. I think that's awesome. So then I started looking down that path, using the recruitment box as my guide to kind of help build a new army of Tyranids. I started doing my research, and I found a group of termagants for I can't remember. They're the older versions of them, of the pre-releases on Amazon, and I thought that would be good for him because we both are probably not that good at painting, especially him being a young kid. So it'd be a good start for us. So that's where the dilemma started. to, I don't know, I can't remember how many points are actually in the recruitment box, but you need to start working your way up to at least your first 500 points to build your army. And then apparently I was reading just to even have a decent game, and it's good to have like 1,000 points. So you start doing the research and you start like adding up the money and the time that goes into it, and it gets pretty crazy. But like, I'm ready for it. I was like, well, we'll just do it slowly. We'll get to 500 points. We'll play with them, and then we'll work on the way up to 1,000 points. So I downloaded the Warhammer app a while back, when I was doing my research and everything, and then working with my son, he's wanting to get into Tyranids. The next time I opened up the app, I couldn't see all the special abilities and all the stats of the Tyranids. They have it locked behind a paywall. And I was like, man, that's really interesting. That's kind of lame, because like I don't really want to spend time and money on something that I don't really know that much about. I mean, I get it if somebody's been in this hobby for a while, but for somebody that is just starting out like me, like it's just like you're like flying in blind and like spending a bunch of money. Yes. That was my wife and kid trying to figure out if we're gonna have chicken wings tonight. Yeah, we are. So after that, I kind of just lost interest in the hobby altogether. I still had the recruitment box put away, and I didn't really mess with models, and I was just focusing on other things. The band was doing good at the time. We were playing out a lot. I just totally lost interest in it. It's too much money and too much time and effort to get into it. But here's the thing. I totally get it. You can spend money on hobbies. I play guitar. You can spend a lot of money on guitars. You can spend a lot of money on guitar effects that you may use and you may not use, and it can be pretty addicting. But here's the catch. Even in the music world, you could spend a couple $100 on the kit that comes with an electric guitar and a really basic amp, and it's playable enough to where you can figure out whether you like the hobby or not. Once you figure it out, you can spend more money. You still don't have to spend a lot of money to have a really good time. The acoustic guitar that I play out in public for gigging was only like $280, and yeah, I know how to set it up correctly, and I know how to like make it awesome, but still, that was probably like another $40. So like, a little over $300, I had a pretty awesome thing, when you could spend thousands of dollars on just one acoustic guitar. And with guitar effects pedals, I mean, yeah, you can easily spend $300 on one guitar effects pedal, one reverb pedal that makes an echo. But you can easily also get online and find a pedal that does the same thing for like $20, and then even like a certain type of echo. And so you can like buy that, get it shipped here, plug it in, and try it just to see if you like it. And you're like, man, this is really going to work out. I mean, the build quality, I don't know if I gig with you, and the sound is not as good as of what I know it can happen. So like, but you can at least get the idea, and then you can, go big next time and like buy the nice product. I always teach people, when I kind of teach people to get started on a guitar, I was like, go really simple. Don't like go all in with all the effects and everything. Just like, just get just an acoustic guitar or a very simple electric setup with the guitar and plug straight into an amp. Don't make it more complicated with pedals and everything, because then you're just going to get frustrated. You don't know what's going on. It's hard enough just to play your first chord. So you just need to like get through the basics first, and then buy all the crazy randomness. So 6 months go by, and I'm just watching some random YouTube like people do, and I'm noticing that there are more and more people kind of feeling the same frustrations that I did about Warhammer. Like, it was just like too hard to get into. One of the big problems that I had was like when I actually figured out that I wanted to buy a specific Tyranid model for my son. Like, I would get online, and even if you go to the Games Workshop website, it would be like sold out, or you just can't find it. maybe you can find it on Amazon or something. It'll be like the old version of the model. I don't know. It's just hard to get stuff. I'm hearing now that like they have these other games and boxes that are just that release and then they sell out and you just can't get it, which I just feel like that is ridiculous. So then we get into the 3D printing world, and my family we're all kind of engineers. Like my brother is a full-blown, like he has a professional engineering license. My uncle is a welder and manufacturer. Like we've always like built cars and worked on cars. I do graphic design for a living, and you know, we just like to put puzzles together and everything. So like 3D printing really, man, that sounds like kind of like fun. By saying that, like through YouTube, I come across onepagerules. I'm obviously not sponsored by them. This is my second video on the channel or something like that. But I will say that this concept, like I'm sure they're not the only people doing this, but this concept is really cool. To where like they kind of give you the rules for free, and you can get on their Patreon or something, and then you can buy groups of models off a website, or if you're on your Patreon, they release models at a time. Not the actual models, but the blueprints, what they call STLs for 3D printing, which is kind of cool because like then the blueprints are yours, the STLs are yours, and you can print them. And then if you mess up on painting, or you can give them to your kid that is getting into the hobby, and we can both do a horrible job painting them and learn how to do the process, and we figure out how to paint better down the road. We can just print another one of the same model up and do it again, which is kind of really cool. The models are a little bit more fragile than like Games Workshop stuff, because they actually do like a mold process, like a standard model they're on the plastic. I forgot what you call them, but you know. But anyway, onepagerules offers like a simpler version of the gameplay of Warhammer 40,000. Actually, they have like the fantasy version and the sci-fi version, so you know, you can find something you can get into, and it's just a little bit easier to get into. And you feel like when you spend the money, you're getting more something out of it. Like even if you don't have a 3D printer, they have a link to a website to where you can get pre-printed models and sent to you. My first set was a set of 5 warriors. These guys are called jackals, and they're called trackers. So they have these cool like kind of rifle guns with like scopes on them and everything. It looked really rad. I really like, for most of the onepagerules models, I really like the design of them over Warhammer. So I know a lot of people would probably argue with me about that, but just me being a graphic designer, I like the aesthetic of it. There's nothing wrong with liking the aesthetic of Warhammer, because I get it. Like everything is just kind of like ridiculous for Warhammer, but onepagerules is a little like tamer. And just, I don't know, the design is just different looking. So I started doing the math, and I realized that, you know, like I ended up buying a 3D printer, and it wasn't like the best one in the market, but it was a pretty decent one. And then I ended up buying a curing station. And what the curing station does is, like, once the models come out of the printer, they're not exactly like gummy, but they're a little soft feeling. And you put them in the curing station, and one part you need to wash the resin. Some resin gets baked, and that's what makes the solid model. And then of course the other resin is just like gooped all over the model, so you need to wash the excess off, and then you put that model in the second stage at the curing station, and it actually hits it with a UV light, and it hardens the material and makes it like a harder plastic, which is, I mean, the whole process is really interesting to me. Like I said, like, you know, I'm into like design and mechanical stuff, so like it's pretty fun. That some people argue whether that is a hobby in itself, and it kind of is, and it's kind of not. I mean, it's part of a hobby, but you know, just like Warhammer, like where you build the models like you do any other model kit and then paint them. this is just one more step where you actually like you're actually 3D printing the model, and then you fix it up, and then you paint it, and then you play with it. It's just like another step to the crazy journey of miniature wargaming. I did the math, and I bought the 3D printer, the curing station, and then I bought the whole pack of jackals. It was during Christmas, so they did like a sale, but I did it for, I can't remember, but less than 60 bucks. I got everything that one faction has to offer, and that's the blueprints, that's the STLs. So I can print those as many times as I want to. And there was like 100 some models in that pack. And I did that for less than $500, which you could spend $500 easy. Future eBiz here. I decided that when I was editing this video, I figured I'd go back and be a little bit more fair and transparent about pricing on in between like Warhammer and 3D print and stuff. But if you are interested in Warhammer, you can get these. You can look up and get these combat patrol boxes. This is a pretty good deal for $136. I think these are a little over 500 points per army, so, or a collection of models. So like I think if you find a faction you like, you can get this. And I think what some people are doing are actually like finding one that they like and actually buying 2 boxes, so you get over 1,000 points. So that's pretty awesome. Easy in Warhammer, like without even getting to your first 500 points. I feel like, I mean, you could probably get your first 500 points, but I don't know, it'll be stretching it. Now, I haven't given up on Warhammer. I still like the concept of it. I like the models a lot. I think I'm going to slowly build up my blue Space Marines, or go ahead and switch over to my Grey Knights and build up 1,000 points. But that's something that I can do with my own money, and that's going to be just a way longer process. I'm not going to I don't think I'll spend that much money on my son with that. Like right now, I've got him on the one-page rules models and everything, and we're having fun with that. And I don't mind spending that kind of money on my son, but until he gets older, I don't want to spend Warhammer money on him. You know, just to have somebody to play with at the house and everything. But I still see Warhammer as like sort of like the big leagues, when all the other companies are more like your church softball team. That it's just fun to get together and play. You don't have to like be crazy with it. But if you want to get crazy with it, you know, you go to the big leagues and you really work for it, and you play like a legit game. It's almost like the difference in between like Formula One and drag racing. Formula One, you know, big time sponsors, ton of money, you know, just massive, like different countries involved in it. But if you want to just like get on the track, there is a drag strip down the road from me where you can just take your car off the street and get on there. And I think you might have to do like a couple of trainings, but you could straight up take your street car on the track, wait for the lights to come down and hit the gas, and you learn how to race. I mean, you're in a race. And if you want to spend big money on that, you still can. You know, you can put a lot of money in the car and really start winning big. But if you just want to get into it, you can just drive your car up on there and race legally. So for the other new guys in the hobby, it's okay to start small. It's also okay to dream big. You know, there's nothing wrong with Warhammer. Just know that that's going to be a long process. There's other people that have been in the game and have, you know, already have a bunch of money into it, and they don't mind spending a little bit more money on the new thing that's coming out. But when you're first starting out, I know it just seems kind of crazy. Go ahead and find other smaller companies and easier games to get into that have like a simpler rule set and it's easy to get into. Some of my favorite are like skirmish games that are what they call miniature agnostic, which means you could take whatever you have laying around and make a game out of it. Like any of your miniatures that you already have. There is a game called Gaslands I'm starting to get into, where you can just like get any Matchbox or Hot Wheels car from your house that your kids have and glue a gun to it, and then you play a game where you're racing against people. I think that's just a fantastic I did, because like it really, like even if you don't have a car, you can go to your local like dollar store, and which I just did not too long ago, and I spent $5 just to get like two sets of cars, just to play against my brother, just to learn how to play the game. I mean, that's $5, you know, plus the rule book, which is like $20, but that's still like nothing compared to like what you can spend in miniature wargaming. So that's just a little small introduction of what I would like to kind of do with this channel. I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do with this channel. Like I'm working on a video now where I'm painting some of my jackals that I bought. Just little small miniatures from onepagerules. Also would like to do videos where like I learn how to play a smaller skirmish game, and then like I teach you how to do it in a pretty a well presentable way that's easy to follow along and learn. And of course, like videos like this where I'm just talking about the struggles of being in the hobby as somebody brand new in the hobby and everything. You know, if you're new into it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to give it a thumbs up, and follow Square Table Union. This is what it's about. You know, this is going to be like, you know, us new guys in it together. Remember to just have fun kicking the ball around the kickball before you go to the major leagues. Peace.